What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks, and we back in the building. You feel me? It's True Talks, cause True Talks. All right, let's get straight right into it. So you already know, obviously, it just came out maybe like an hour ago or so. That Kevin Durant and the ownership met on Monday. So basically, Steve Nash, Joe Tsai, um, Kevin Durant, and Sean Marks, Rich Kleiman as well. They obviously met in LA. And, a statement has been put out. Let me just read that statement before we get started into kind of like, debunking some of these narratives and just actually telling the truth, the behind the scenes, the IQ. That's what I do. IQ just about what happened, right? So the statement has been released by Sean Marks. Steve Nash and I obviously is going to put that in first, obviously, together with Joe Tsai and Clara Wu Tsai met with Kevin Durant and Rich Kleiman in Los Angeles yesterday. We have agreed to move forward with our partnership. We are focusing on basketball with one collective goal in mind: build a lasting franchise to bring a championship to Brooklyn. So it's not just bring a championship to Brooklyn, it's also build a lasting franchise. So again, this is what kind of comes full circle to what I said. This is why I'm like, KD's not leaving. Remember, people are getting lost in, oh my God, like people are kind of not seeing things. You're seeing things from the surface level and not from the actual, like it's going over their heads. And that's what I was trying to explain with all the videos that I've been doing about this Kevin Durant Brooklyn situation. I've been explaining, reading the tea leaves, kind of explaining to people kind of like what is going on here. It's going above a lot of y'all heads. A lot of y'all are focusing on, oh my God, look at KD's weak. He demanded a trade. He went to Golden State. He's weak for that. Then he's now demanding a trade not only to Miami, but he's also demanding a trade to Phoenix, the top two number one seeds. I'm like, dog, why is he doing that? Like, do you think he's actually trying to go there? You know what I mean? It's twofold. If he does go there, he goes there. But it's not like when you demand a trade request, it's to create fear within the organization so things could change and things could be dictated and transpire the way you want it to transpire. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what's been happening. And what was the straw that broke the camel's back? What was the last thing that kind of made him do this request? Remember, I told you it's a organization versus player fight. One is trying to call the bluff, and the other is trying to call their bluff. Right? They think that they're bluffing. So what happens if someone's calling your bluff? You have to. It's either you bluff, and then from there on, it's like you can never speak up again, or you go along with your bluff. And that's kind of what's happening. Not necessarily that's a bluff, but in Joe Tsai's eyes, he thinks KD demanding a trade is a bluff. Remember, let's go back into time. This is what I try to tell people. Obviously, you got to understand, KD and Kyrie got to Brooklyn. When they got to Brooklyn, they joined together. Then they got DeAndre Jordan the deal, obviously. And, Brooklyn probably didn't want to pay him that because they had Jared Allen. It wouldn't make sense for them to do that. But again, KD and Kyrie, obviously, Players League, you have the power. You can dictate what transpires. You have to, with the roster, you have to go accordingly to your best players and be like, yo, you co-signing this move? Are you okay playing with this player? Like, this is what happens in the new NBA. It's not like back then, old school, where they just, you show up to work. Oh, this guy's here now. This guy's here. Like, that's how it used to be, right? So that's long gone. That's been gone, right? So that's not just like KD and Kyrie isolated. Oh, they have too much power. This is amongst the league wide, team wide, right? Like the best players on the team typically have the power if they want it, right? To dictate who's on the team and co-sign. Maybe not necessarily like you better get that guy, which in some cases they do. But if this guy is kind of being brought, they don't just bring him cold turkey. They kind of like, yo, we're thinking of boom, boom, boom. Are you okay with that? And then if they don't, then they make the person mad, and that person now has to make a decision. Am I going to create ruckus, or am I going to actually just be like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to keep it pushing with the team, even though you made a move I didn't want you to make. So that's a different context and a different conversation. But at the end of the day, the point is the players have the actual power in this league now. So, they got DeAndre Jordan, obviously, that deal. And again, KD and Kyrie are at the hip like this. It's not that it's a KD move. It's not that it's a Kyrie move. It's both. Simultaneously, they agree and then they go in one accord. That's what it's been, right? And so when now, obviously, they wanted a new coach. Kenny Atkinson is not getting the job done while KD was injured during that 1 year with the Achilles, and Kyrie played a little bit around the bubble time. That's why Jacques Vaughn was kind of like, obviously he had the team in the bubble, and they were obviously playing. He was an interim coach, and they were doing, kind of having he was having what is it? A trial run, basically, right? So, they fired Kenny Atkinson, then they got Steve Nash. Steve Nash is obviously tight with KD. He's been with KD in Golden State. He was helping him basically like his shot doctor, his trainer, and all that type of stuff, helping him with applying metrics and just the movement with his shot and doing all of that, right? KD's been there with Steve Nash and the other trainer in Golden State as well, too. But, for the most part, they have a relationship. So, got him the job there. Again, KD and Kyrie, again, same thing. So, is this whole play with it'll come full circle anyways, but they have a relationship. Anytime, if you notice the trend with KD, if KD has a relationship with you, unless you break the bridge, he doesn't necessarily, it's not like the bridge is broken. Even if something's happening in business, it doesn't mean I'm not talking to you. Like, he could be talking to them every day. KD's that type of guy. Like, he can separate business. This is the same thing with the Twitter. He can separate, we talk smack, but when I'm on the court, this is what we do, and I'm going to kill you. Like, his brain works on a higher capacity. It's not like, some guys who they're emotionally invested that they can't separate emotions between business and playing and hooping. Like, KD operates on what the superstars normally operate on, right? They have to have thicker skin. That's why this whole narrative of thin skin is cap. They have to have thicker skin to accept all the stuff y'all are saying and then still hoop on the court, still be elite at that, and then still also be making moves behind the scenes. This guy gets traded. Like, they have to have some type of LeBron as well, too. Have to have some type of elite, brain. They have to have some elite brain power to actually be like, you know what? I could hoop. Behind the scenes, even though that guy's my boy, maybe he's not good with the team. Maybe let me trade him because I need this guy to get better, win a ring. Like, this is what goes on, right? So KD obviously has thicker skin. So if he's tight with Steve Nash, it's not just gonna. You seen after the playoffs, he was like, "Yo, Steve Nash clearly is the right guy." Like, he's not necessarily like, "I don't rock with you no more." Again, I'm saying this is a bigger play at hand that's happening. There's some casualties happening along the way. But again, that's the trajectory of what's been happening. Then what happened now after that, right? After, obviously, they got Steve Nash done, then what happened? We need to get a better team or a better big three. They get James Harden, flip Karras, flip Jared Allen, all of that, what they did. Again, they're having the power. They're having to say. They're having the, we got to do this. Then what happened? James Harden says, I want out, and they flip him for Ben Simmons, basically. And that's when things started to change. Obviously, with the part-time Kyrie, the organization didn't like it. But KD and Kyrie, they're like this. They don't care. KD doesn't care that Kyrie's not playing because he knows who Kyrie is. He's boys with him. For you to be boys with him, like, before Kyrie makes these decisions, he's obviously talking to KD about what the decision, like, this is when you're brothers, it don't matter. Like, honestly, I don't like what you're doing. I wish you wouldn't do that. But I understand from your perspective because I love you as a brother. Like, it goes way beyond, like, your brain could work. You could be a friend with this person on the court and want them to have things on the court, but at the end of the day, it doesn't supersede the love that you have for this guy as a brother, that, like, this individually is something that he can't stand on. He's not going to rock with. He's not going to take the vaccine. So doesn't mean I'm not going to be your brother no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is levels that, like, other people are emotional. So they're like, I guess the typical fan is an emotional fan. They don't understand that, like, dog, multiple things could be true. Yes, I could be mad and want you on the court, but that doesn't mean I'm mad enough to not be your brother. It doesn't mean that, like, again, this is not something I know behind the scenes. You're going to get the vaccine mandate. I know what's transpiring. Yes, I wish that you'd be playing now, but dog, come on now. Like, I already know what it is. Like, these guys, they're like this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you could see that. So when you look at it from that perspective, this is not KD moving solo. That's what's getting swept under the rug. This is Kyrie and KD at the hip. They know what every play is aligning with each other if you actually pay attention to it. So when you look at it from that perspective, even though the part-time to the organization, they felt like Kyrie and he's the scapegoat and he's the bad apple and all this type of stuff. Now that they got swept, what did KD say? I'm still good with the coach. I know that we just needed a full year together. You don't care if James Harden's there. I'm even amped that we have Ben Simmons. I know this could work. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? But then what happens? When they now decided not to give Kyrie his extension, that's when everything went haywire, because the whole purpose of KD re-signing and extending himself for 5 years when he did it was basically that this is my last team. His office is there. Everything's in Brooklyn or New York, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, This is a long. I'm not trying to flip teams again. Like, I'm trying to win championships here, maybe three-peat here. Like, I'm trying to build legacy. Clearly, that's what he's trying to do. Kyrie and him are on the same page again. I told y'all these two already are brothers, but they also bonded. Kyrie has a game winner with LeBron and the Cavs, and what happens? They sweep Kyrie's production and his contribution under the rug, and it's LeBron, right? So they have a common. They have the common denominator, right? KD, same thing with Golden State. Even though he's a 2-time Finals MVP and he's really that guy for Golden State and literally was carrying them, swept it under the rug. It's Golden State. Kyrie needed it. KD needed them. KD needed them. So they both have a similar, point of interest, a similar point of, okay, you know what? We need to come together because we are the bad apple. We are the person disrupting the organization. We are the person who gets no credit. We are bad in the media. Let's join together and silence all these mans and win rings together and shut them up. That's what they're clearly trying to do. I already seen that from time, right? Which is why I knew wherever they were going to go, whether it's the Knicks or Brooklyn, I knew that they were going to go together somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I just already knew. That's why that all-star tool, 2 max, whatever it is, they already knew what it was. So when you go from that perspective, these are not guys. They're trying to build something for the long haul. They're not just going to separate and leave, which is why even with the trade request, you saw that Kyrie 1 year, wherever KD goes, if he's traded, Kyrie's just going to follow him. Like, you know what I'm saying? This was not we break up, KD's moving solo, I'm tired of Kyrie. Like, that whole narrative, like, man should just do it. And this is why you see them working out together still in LA. Like, come on now, yo. Let's be, like, you have to be a hoop head to really understand that I'm multiple people in one. Like, I'm multifaceted. I could be mad at you on the court and we go, we could be brothers on the court, but we could be brothers off the court. But we could also have business and I got to put these reports out, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm chilling with you and dapping you literally 2 hours from when I put these reports out, because at the end of the day, that's just media games. That's not real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's multiple things. Like, this is what happens in entertainment, NBA, sports world, rapper world. This is just this media and media games and real life games and then business games are 3 different things. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you have to understand that and be cognizant of that when you understand and see these reports, you can kind of filter through what's real, what's this type of game, what's like a business play, what's a media play, what's, you know what I mean? You have to understand these things. So that's why I'm here to do that IQ. That's what I do and be having the trained eye, right? So when you see from that perspective, again, once the Brooklyn Nets did not give him that extension, that's when all shit went loose. You know what I'm saying? That's when everything, the cat's out the bag, everything's out, because it's not just that they didn't extend Kyrie, because KD obviously wanted that. Kyrie obviously wanted that. Kyrie said, I want to extend with the Nets. He said that right after they got swept, trying to make a long-term deal. Obviously, that's when now Joe Tsai just shocked KD and Kyrie, like, yo, he's just putting his foot down. I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. Nope. You got to earn it. They're like, are you stupid? Earn what? I already earned it just by my name being here, just by KD extended. Like, KD wants him. You already do it. Forget even if you don't want to do what I do, because Kyrie's already box office. If KD wants that, you do it. Oh, no, you're not doing that? Okay, now we had a different discussion now. Not forget this basketball shit. Now it's our power at hand. Our power is at hand. You're playing with us. We have the power. What are you talking about? We have the power, and that's what it came down to now. So now when they don't want to extend, we're going to make you don't want to extend? Okay. If you don't extend, KD's willing to leave, though. It might not even been KD that said that. It could have been Kyrie that said that in the actual, meetings. Obviously, Kyrie before the meeting said, yo, KD, if they're not willing to give me an extension, yo, are you willing to do, like, I feel like they're like this, man. I feel like they talked and they're literally like, yo, if they're not willing to extend, are you willing to be like, yo, you demanding a trade to force them to extend? Are you willing to do that? KD's like, yeah, say, yo, if they don't, if anything, let's do that and let's see what they say. If they don't, then we're not going to want to be here to win in Brooklyn. Why would we want to stay here and win you a ring when you literally are playing with us? You're not doing what we want when we're those guys? Yeah, you know what? Let's see. I want to see what Joe Tsai's cards are really at. So KD goes, yo, Kyrie, go do that in your meeting. Yeah, I'm with you. Say that. Now he goes and says that. Joe Tsai, obviously liking tweets. We're not dealing with that shit. Saying we're willing to lose Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's when now, all right, say less. That's what you're doing. Kate, you're calling my bluff. I'm gonna request a trade. Remember, a request, not a demand. Demand means I'm never coming back. request is I'm requesting a trade to shake shit up. Hence what Kobe did. I'm requesting a trade to shake shit up. It doesn't mean I necessarily want to leave, because if you do right by me, obviously I want to stay here, and y'all know that. But I'm going to let y'all know that I'm willing. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. That's what that is. And that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, as much as people are seeing this as a Brooklyn Nets won, no, they didn't. And I'm going to keep going. So obviously, obviously they won on paper. But behind the scenes, they know they didn't win, because they technically gave in. And I'm going to talk about that. So, and this is why I want to highlight what I'm highlighting. I'm kind of painting the picture, because a lot of y'all, kind of forgetting what the tea leaves, how it's been reading and what's really been happening. Y'all have been seeing that tea leaf and been reading that wrong. Y'all been seeing that thing happen and been reading that wrong. Like, y'all are looking at it from a wrong perspective, right? And I'm trying to highlight that, obviously. So when you see, obviously, in the meeting, and now Katie requests a trade, now, obviously, Joe Tsai, and this is what's happening. Joe Tsai is not one of them owners. He's at a point where he's like, yo, I'm going to call your bluff. Because most other owners would have been like, okay, whatever. They wouldn't even let Katie demand a trade. They would have just granted Kyrie his wish. But when that didn't happen, and obviously Kyrie has a timeline, he opted in. Kyrie's like, damn, they know. Katie and Kyrie like, damn, yo, they obviously didn't give me an extension. They know that I have to, like, opt in. I'm not going nowhere. That LA report shit, obviously me going to LA and whatever, that's just me throwing shit out just to force them to, like, extend me because I'm willing to leave type of thing. So, like, when that shit didn't go through and whatever, that's why Kyrie opted in. Brooklyn thought that they won that battle. But Katie now requesting the trade and saying, okay, you won that Kyrie shit. The fact that you thought you called the bluff? No, we're going to stay, but we're going to stay on our demands because we see what's going on here. What's going on here, you're not respecting our demands. You're not respecting our requests and everything like that. You're throwing our power, like, loosely. You're trying to restructure things from, like, old school ways where it's, like, literally a hierarchy. Whatever the GM says goes. Whatever the coach says goes. Y'all just buy in. Y'all basically like slave man's working here. That's kind of going that direction. So that's where Katie and Kyrie are like, yo, we gonna be here. Yeah, obviously, once Kyrie opted in, it already is they're gonna be there. Like, Katie's not separating from Kyrie. We already know that. But they have to go with the bluff. Remember, you have to go. They're calling your bluff. You have to counter that and make them feel the only way for you to get your power back is to do things to get your power back. And that's what Katie was doing. Katie wanted to do this. He has a window from when he requested the trade, June 30, to training camp, because Katie's not the type to actually not play in training camp or whatever. He's a hooper. You see the man working out constantly. Like, he's not going to not play. And the fact that they know that's to Brooklyn's advantage. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to create ruckus and do things to kind of make y'all see that, you know what, we need to reduce some of our power struggle that we were going with right now, our power trip that we were on right now. We need to reduce some of that because there's a chance that, okay, these guys are serious. We could actually lose Katie and Kyrie. We could actually make this whole situation go left when it didn't need to. It's literally just me, Joe Tsai, and Katie fighting. That literally it doesn't need to go left as it needs to go. Because Sean Marks and Steve Nash are literally they're the same guys that literally they don't care. They literally will give Katie what they want. But it's Joe Tsai that's being like, yo, listen, y'all need to stop doing that shit. Do this. And they're trying to, so like Joe Tsai and obviously Steve Nash and Sean Marks obviously have a relationship with Katie. Like, Katie got Steve Nash, you know what I mean? And Sean Marks obviously from time with the Achilles situation was in Brooklyn. Like, they already had a rapport from when the Golden State shit was happening. Like, so for Katie to pick Brooklyn, he already has a rapport with Sean Marks. He's already been liking him, right? So, and Sean Marks is a player too, so he knows. So, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you gotta understand, like, certain relationships don't just leave because a owner decided to do some power tripping. So right now they're trying to do things to kind of get that shit back. So what happens now is that obviously at the point in time we're at, Katie obviously demanded a trade. And now again, Joe Tsai is he could either be a weaker owner and be like, yo, okay, fine. We don't want to trade you, fine. And Katie give you what you want. But obviously, Joe Tsai is calling his bluff. You know you don't want to go nowhere. Kyrie, your man, opted in. You know you have to stay. Kyrie has to play for 1 year. You're not going to sus Kyrie and make his 1 year be a year that he kind of is playing in. Even if he's snapping, is not really winning, that could affect his contract. You're not going to do that to Kyrie. So you know you want to stay here. I'm calling your bluff. So now they're fighting, rightfully so. Joe Tsai has a reason to call his bluff because it's like, yo, what are you talking about? It's cap. So I'm holding on to KD. If you want to demand a trade, I'm not just gonna trade you for pennies to anywhere because you want to go somewhere where actually you have a roster to compete. That's the whole purpose of the demand or requesting a trade. So you know what? I'm gonna hold out and make everybody else give me the world. If they don't give me the world, hell no, I'm not even looking at that shit. So he's purposely doing that to stall and make KD realize that, listen, you ain't going nowhere if I don't want you to go nowhere. So what does KD do now when that stalled for a month and a half-ish, around there? KD goes, you know what? I'm going to do a different play because I don't want this to go to training camp where I have to have I don't want this to go to training camp because I really want to hoop. And I do like this Brooklyn team. I really want to hoop. But I don't want this to go to training camp. On the flip side, Joe Tsai's like, this man's not gonna let it go to training camp, so we just gonna hold out and we just gonna naturally just let him play. But KD goes, you know what? I'm not. If that happens, I lose all my power. What's the point of me doing this? I know I'm not gonna play at training camp, but I have to make them feel that I might not play at training camp. So all this could be done. So that's the window that they have right now. So what does KD do? Yo, listen, I'm doubling down. You trade me and get me out of here, or if you keep me, fire Steve Nash and Sean Marks. Why did he do that? Why did he do Steve Nash and Sean Marks? He could even be still talking to Steve Nash. Steve Nash, yo, why did you do that? And KD's like, yo, this nigga, it's a business thing, yo. You know what it is. Like, I'm good with you. I'm just doing this, like, I'm trying to let Joe Tsai, like, he needs to stop this power tripping bullshit, like, or he's going to mess shit up. Yes, we didn't win the last year. There's a lot of things that happened that affected the winning. My foot was one. We would have won the ring if it wasn't for my foot. That's one. And Kyrie got injured. So don't act like we just won one series. There's things that happened. And then last year with the whole part-time and then they came together. Ben Simmons not there. They were at a disadvantage, whatever the case is. And you know what I mean? But those are swept under the rug. That's not real. When you saw us for real, even with James Harden, while he was injured, we were up 2-0 against Milwaukee. And even without Kyrie, I went to 7. What do you think we're going to do with a fully Kyrie and a fully Ben and a full team? Joe is back too. Like, what are we talking about? We have Seth. Come on now. So that's not the play. That's not what we I'm not trying to actually get you fired. That's not the point. The point is I'm trying to let him know that's what he's doing. I'm trying to let Joe know that, listen, it's one or two things. You either trade me, which I already know you're not going to do, or you would have been traded me. You don't even, right? You're not going to do that. So if I'm here, the only way I'm staying is if you reduce your power trip and change some shit up. So if you fire Steve Nash and Sean Marks, which I know you're not going to do because you clearly are on a power trip. But me doing that, one, is going to demand a meeting with everybody. So now when we have everybody, I can really get my shit off. Or if you actually do fire them, then I get my full power back. It's a win-win for KD. People didn't see it as that. People saw it as, yo, what is KD doing? What's going on here? Like, they're thinking surface level. They're not actually understanding what's really transpiring. You know what I'm saying? They're not really understanding what's transpiring. So when that was happening, I kind of like, okay, I see what KD's play here. It's a win-win for him. It's either he gets traded, and obviously then Kyrie comes with him the next year, and then, but KD doesn't want, but again, KD getting traded, he also has to sign off on that trade because the other party, the other teams aren't going to do the trade because they know KD might demand a trade again. So no, is he okay with getting traded knowing that this is going to be his roster? KD still has to co-sign, he has to still sign off on this trade. So KD has all the power. You can't just trade the guy because the other team wouldn't accept the trade unless KD's accepting of the trade. That's what's part of it. That's why this trade request was beautiful play from KD's point of view. But people aren't seeing it from that. They're looking at it from a basketball perspective. All this surface level, can he play with this? What's the roster going to be? That's surface level thinking. This is a business play, which is why, look at it. When they made the statement, it literally said, if you go look at the statement literally said the Brooklyn Nets. It had the Brooklyn Nets logo and it had the boardroom logo, which is KD's company. Why would it have that? Why would a company be? This is a conversation of a team. What does KD's company have to do with this? Why? Because it's a power play. This is two entities coming together, having a discussion. This is what people aren't preying. They're not taking in this conversation. They're not taking in what's actually happening. It's more than just hoop on the court. This is like a structure thing. This is like, yo, I have demands of this, or I have rights at doing this, and this my power goes to this length. And obviously, Joe Tsai's trying to cut off that power. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to redesign the structure, which is why he keeps focusing structure, structure, structure. And because why would the boardroom's logo be on a Brooklyn Net statement? Why would you have two logos, the Brooklyn Net and the boardroom logo? Like, just take that in. Really take that in. Really take that in, y'all. And my brain is working, and I'm kind of seeing things, you know what I'm saying, at a level that, like, obviously I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know all the things, but I'm just trying to make y'all think and understand from a different perspective, right? You have to understand from, like, what's really, really happening. So Katie doing that play of get rid of Steve Nash and Sean Marks is not that. This is the same man. Katie doesn't contradict himself, if you notice. When Katie says something or stands for you, he stands for you. He doesn't contradict himself. Like, if he has a relationship with you, he has a relationship. He either doesn't speak or he speaks up on your behalf. It's one or the other. And then that's where he might use the burner to maybe contradict himself. But the actual Katie account and him himself, he's not going to contradict himself. So if he literally says Steve Nash was not the problem, X, Y, and Z, and he knows that, why would he now all of a sudden be like, get rid of Steve Nash? Like, come on now. He's not doing that. The whole get rid of Steve Nash and Sean Marks was literally to put Joe Tsai in a bundle. Put him in a situation where, like, damn, I want Katie to stay, and he's saying he will stay under this circumstance. If I grant that, I give him his power back. Or I trade him, and I still give him his power because he's traded. But I want him to stay, and I need him to stay under the guidelines of a new structure. So, damn, I'm going to have a conversation with all of them together in the room because clearly we want him to stay. Everybody, Sean Marks, Steven, everybody wants this guy to stay. So now we're going to have a conversation and really, what are we really going to do? Like, that's what Katie's play was, to fast track that conversation instead of waiting the training camp and that happening and, like, keeping Katie and whatever. Like, he's trying to fast track the inevitable because the purpose wasn't about me leaving. The purpose was about fixing the power trip. So now when they have a meeting with everybody there, he could really get his shit off. Yo, Sean Marks, and there's no telephone and all this type of stuff. It's literally like, yo, I want this, and this. And obviously before that meeting, take it in. Him and Kyrie were hooping in LA. You don't think, even though Kyrie's not in the meeting, you don't think he was in the building? You don't think they pulled up together? You don't think Kyrie and Katie had a conversation right before he went to the meeting? Like, come on now. They're on a string. Take that in. Why are they hooping in LA right when there's about to be a meeting and you come meet us here? The fact that you came here to meet us already knows that Katie and Kyrie have the power. Why are you coming to LA to meet us? Why don't we come to Brooklyn? If Brooklyn's the actual team. You all came to LA. Come on now. What are we really doing? What are we really doing? People aren't seeing that. That already lets you know where you meet lets you know who has the power. That's one. That's business 101. You know what I'm saying? So when you see that, and obviously that's happening, now when they have that meeting, take it in Joe Tsai's, I don't know, wife, sister, I don't know who that is. I didn't do my research, but someone on Joe Tsai's end, just not him, maybe to make him be like, yo, give some sense to him that, yo, stop this power trip. When you hear what they're saying, yo, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. That person's there for that. I promise you. Sean Marks and Steve Nash, because at the end of the day, obviously Joe Tsai is going to have the final boom. But at the end of the day, what happened in that meeting, I promise you, which is why Katie's not just there by himself. He's there with Rich Kleiman. You know what I'm saying? He's there. They're there together. It's a full thing. And when that conversation happens, people are taking this narrative as, yo, Katie they told Katie, shut up, you're staying. What's wrong with you? And that's the meeting. And Katie now goes, oh, I'm going to move forward with. That's not what happened. They're not going to leak the real what happened. But I promise you what probably happened, because for Katie to now literally say, I'm going to move forward, y'all, he really told him, listen, y'all think I won't do this training camp shit? I will do it. He's just saying whatever just to get what he wants. And he let them know. And then obviously Brooklyn knows that, yo, we can't have that. Like, we want Katie here and we want to win a championship. It's the whole purpose. So, like, we can't, like, we want this to be fixed way before training camp so we can make a direction, make a decision on who's our last big man we're going to get. And we need, like, this is the last dot so everything could filter out. So we need to do this now. Now it has to be, it's just been drawn out. And now Katie, by waiting out, obviously it feels like Brooklyn Nets has the power, surface level, roster-wise, the fact that he stayed there overall-wise, yeah, he stayed. So Brooklyn won. No, but what happened for him to stay? And that's the conversation people need to be having. But they're not going to have, obviously, because they don't like KD and they don't like Kyrie and all that type of stuff. And like, but he didn't just stay, yo. They had a meeting, and in that meeting, I promise you, KD got some of his power back, or majority of it back. It might not be to the same extent, but when we make decisions, it's going to be you. It's going to be behind the scene. Like, that's why the boardroom logo is there. He got his power back. Why would they? For them to even put the boardroom logo there, that's Brooklyn Nets adhering to even saying, you know what? Fine then, yo. You're with us. Come. Are y'all understand what I'm saying? Because if they really had all the power and Joe Tsai and Brooklyn Nets made the statement. Just why was the boardroom? When have you seen a player's business media company be on a team statement, like their logo be on a team statement? When have you seen? I don't think I've ever seen that before. So that already let me know that like he probably even got like he got his power back. Like, and they know after this that's why they say partnership. What does it say? With one collective goal in mind, build a lasting franchise. So not the lasting franchise in the way you wanted it, the lasting franchise in the way I wanted it, which is why my logo's here, which is why I got the power back, and that's why I'm staying. I'm only agreeing to move forward if y'all granted what I want. This is what I wanted the whole time. I played it beautifully. I didn't want to go this far, but because Joe Tsai was being stubborn, we had to go this far. So I had to go that far that I had to call out, make it seem like it's not a bluff. I had to go that far, but I got what I want. I wanted to be in Brooklyn always, which is why I extended for 5 years in the first place. The only difference is Kyrie doesn't have his contract. And everything went sour from there, but we reeled it back in. He's going to get his shits. Obviously, yes, how the year plays out, but forget that. That's at the bottom. Now all this other things. You're not changing what I was already doing before. All the power I had when y'all do this and get this coach or get this assistant or get this guy, y'all were doing moves. Like, y'all were signing guys, like, without my, like, y'all were snapping. You know what I'm saying? So, like, reel it back in. Stop power tripping. Let's go back to what we was doing. You know what I mean? We'll have more, like, involve me back in these conversations. Like, stop doing that shit. And that's what's actually happening. That's what's transpiring. So when you see that happening, I think that KD eventually did win. Because, again, what y'all thought he wanted, y'all are so surface level. Y'all think that what he wanted was to get out. And the fact that he's back in Brooklyn, he lost. That's what the narrative is. That's not what was really happening. If you really know what's happening, you will really see that KD won. Again, all you need to look, if you think I'm talking smack, again, when it all fails, the proof is in the pudding. Just look at the boardroom. Why is the boardroom logo there on a statement? That tells you everything. KD didn't talk about nothing. He didn't make. He just. You see him right now actually tweeting, man's about like, why do I have to explain myself? He don't have to explain nothing because he knows behind the scenes I got to these guys in the way I needed to. I'm here now. The boardroom, like, come on now. That's a big deal. The boardroom logo on a team statement. That's crazy, yo. Like, tip your hat off to KD. Like, I don't. This might even be like business wise. I know the owners and whatever. A lot of owners like, oh, why? They're probably like, oh, why the hell is the boardroom logo there? Like, they're thinking that Joe Tsai said no and the player didn't get traded. Woo, we're amped. Joe Tsai, you did one for the owners. Good shit, boy. No, they're not happy about that. Why is the boardroom logo there? What's going on here? What's going on here, yo? They're trying to find out information. A lot of these guys, they're trying to find out, yo, what? Did you actually advance this power, this player power to a whole new level? Now their companies could be involved with us like that? Could actually demand shit like that? They're on the, like, come on now, yo, that's big. That's big. That's something that maybe down the line when you see a documentary about this, that actually will be leaked. Like, this is big. Like, and y'all aren't seeing that, y'all aren't preying it, but, you know, obviously the trained eye, that's what I got, the trained eye. So maybe I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. The proof is in the pudding. I've been seeing, like, I don't think I'm wrong. That's why I'm like, I know KD's going to be in Brooklyn because, again, he signed an extension for a reason. His office is there. Everything is there. Like, you know what I'm saying? For a reason. Like, he's there long haul. He wants to 3P. He wants to win rings. Like, he wants to, like, take this to a whole new level. That's what he's there for the long haul. Maybe 8 years. I don't know how long it's going to be. However many years he's playing, he probably wants to retire there. That's why he changed his number to 7. Like, it's a whole new slate. That's what everything is been. That's what it's been. You know what I'm saying? And Kyrie 7-11, like, that's why they're there. So that's why it's just laughable when I see people's tweets and I see like the narratives being spun the other way. Y'all are really surface level and y'all are exposing your IQ, which is okay because not a lot of people are going to think from this perspective. But if you really are understanding what's happening, that's what's happening. So again, it's True Talks. It's True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no jaw here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. Again, like, let me know what y'all think in the comment section if I'm tripping or not. But like, that's kind of what I'm understanding from what's been happening. So, we'll see how things transpire. I think that, again, KD got what he wanted. He literally knew that he was going to play training camp, and he got this shit to be done before training camp in terms of the power play behind the scenes, what I'm involved with in this organization, the power I have in this organization. He got that shit back because Joe Tsai was literally on a power trip. And the first reason to do that was all the signings they was doing and all the what's it called? Like, not signing Kyrie. That literally was the play. That was letting him know that, yo, we changing shit. So, and all the tweets and everything. So they were battling. KD won the battle, obviously. He got what he wanted. And, we go from there. We'll see how everything transpires. Let me know what y'all think. Again, it's True Talks. It's True Talks. Like I said, share, like, and subscribe. Click that notification button so you know when I'm here. Because I'm here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. And I'm out, man.